Good morning, everybody. It is, as you will have gathered from the title of this vlog, a very exciting day. Thank you, Hugo. Using me as a head scratch once again. Yeah, as you will have seen, it is Hugo's big day, his first ever one-day event, and we are going to Elmwood to do the 70. So it's about 8:30 in the morning now. Our times are very social. Our dressage is at 12:15, so I've got about an hour and a half till we need to leave. Good boy, stand. Stand up, good boy. He says, I'm in by myself. So I need to plait him up. He's had his full bath last night, so he's looking super cute in a snuggy hood. And then I put a fly rug on him to try and keep some of the dust off. We'll see how well that worked. And yeah, I'm gonna plait his mane and try and do his tail. I've plaited Pizzazz's tail once before in my life and it wasn't the best, but thank you, Hugo. We'll see if I've improved at all. Please don't do that on Hugo's. So yes, very exciting. He has been such a good boy this summer, so I wanted to get him out to one event this season just as a learning experience, really. There's no expectations. Any of you who are around when Harry was still around, we got eliminated at our first event. So there's no expectations, it's just a learning experience. Thank you, Hugo. So yes, gonna get on with the plaiting now. His mane is all plaited up. I put him in a stable because, yeah, he got a little bit bored. So I thought before I attempt his tail, he can have a little breather. I'm not sure how well you'll see in here. The top few here are good. It's quite hard to see in here, but they are better, I think, than my combined training ones. So a little bit smaller. But yeah, he wouldn't really stand still, which does make plaiting a little bit difficult. So I will try and do his tail. I might try and do it in here whilst he's eating. I'll turn the lights on. You might be able to see a little bit better if I turn the lights on. And yeah, I need to do his forelock plait, but I'll do that in a sec. Can you see a bit better? Let's have a look. Not really. Right, I don't think we're going to get any points for style, but it's done. It's hard to see in here with this light, sorry. Let's go from back here. But it's in the middle, maybe I can see of his tail, all the way down. So we'll take that as a win. And yeah, I'm gonna quickly put it in a tail bandage because he does notoriously rub his tail. But I think it's only the second time I've ever plaited a tail. I'll go a bit closer. It's so hard to see in here. It's a bit of an improvement. I just need to work on getting it a bit tighter. Amazing at loading. He'll probably show me up today. He is a very good boy. You can shut that fence now. Come on in. No, he's a very light traveller compared to Zazzy. Good boy. There's new shavings out for you. Good boy. Hello. Good boy. We're here. Some noise for you to look at. Good boy. Should we get you off and do your forelock plait? Good boy. Very, very smart. Trying to scoff his face. But he looks so smart. He is a greedy boy. And I'm just going to get on and walk him around and get him used to the atmosphere, I think. Hello, so here we go. First ever dressage test voiceover for Mr Hugo. Here we are, trotting around the edge, getting him used to it. As you can see, he looks very relaxed. He had warmed up really, really nicely. Sorry I didn't get any footage of warm up, but he did warm up nicely. He calmed down because he was quite tense when I first got on. He's never had to do a dressage test on grass before, and I think I'd already mentioned he's never had to canter in a dressage test either, so this was quite a big ask. So here we are, coming down the centre line, which we got a 6-4 with drifting slightly. For him, this was actually very straight, considering where our starting point was when we first started doing centre lines. That was very good. And now we have to turn left at E and circle 20 metres at X, which we got a 7-4, so I was so pleased with this. I think he looks really nice, consistent in the contact. Circle is a good shape. His head isn't too low, isn't too high. I maybe need to shorten my reins a little bit, but pretty good. And then we do exactly the same again. So when we get to X, we now circle right 20 metres, and I think when I change the rein, yeah, he's a little bit inconsistent, but we got a 6.5 with saying more suppleness needed. On our first circle, the judge agreed with me. She said pleasing rhythm and outline. So that was nice. And the 6.5 for this is still really good. Now we are coming back round to X, and then we continue straight. He fought against me a bit here, and then we do our first canter transition. So we canter pretty early in this test, and we got a 6.5 lumbered to canter, but we got the right strike off, and here he looks pretty good. And we go straight into a 20 metre circle, which again we got a 6.5 for, and considering his canter is nowhere near polished, this is looking really nice, I thought. And then our downward transition I was dreading because it was slightly downhill, but we got a 6 saying quarters right, and then we're straight into walk, and it came up very, very quickly when you're on a baby, and straight into free walk. So it's all coming up quite quickly, and you need so much more time to prepare when you're on a youngster where the transitions take so much more preparation. But we got a 6.5 for all of this walk work. And here I'm picking him back up into medium walk, and this is where our marks let us down a bit. We got 5.5 for our medium walk, saying nice steps but trotted early. We meant to trot to F. I can't even remember where I trotted. Oh, I must have thought it was in the corner. That's my mistake, silly me. And we got a 6.5 for the trot, and then we're doing our left canter transition here. 6.5 with the comment better transition, and I did think it was better. And then we got a 7 for this canter circle, which is really good. I don't think it looks quite as good as the right canter, but they obviously thought it was better. We got the comment better. And then our downwards transition in this top corner, 6 quarters right. Our downward transitions still need a lot of work, but I think overall he's looking so good. His second ever dressage test, and like first on with canter, and then we did these 2 change the reins, and at home when I changed the diagonal over X, he'd stuck his head up loads, so he was slightly stuck his head up there, but not too bad. I've lost track of where we are on the sheet. I think these are all 6.5s. And then we go straight into another change of rein, which is 6.5 again. And then down the centre line, we got a 5.5. This was not great, this halt. Not good at all. But she says, pleasing test. Take care to pay attention to accuracy. Yep, that's my fault. More suppleness needed to improve overall marks. Here you go, you can have a treat. Well, Mum's going to sponge him off because we've just finished our dressage, but it's not too bad. And he was an absolute super pony, considering that's the first time he's ever done a dressage test on grass. So he doesn't have studs in, because he doesn't even have back shoes. And it's his first ever test with canter in, which, yeah, I was a bit worried that he'd kind of strike off on the wrong lead, but he got it both times, and actually was really good, so I'm really pleased with him. The halt at the end was pretty abysmal, but everything else, he was really good. So wait and see what our score is, but I'm so pleased with how he coped with it all and the warm up and everything. And now we've got a very long wait till show jumping, so we'll put him in and he can chill out and we'll go and walk all our courses. But he was a very, very good boy. You looked very smart, didn't you? Right, so cross country is all walked and it was very nice, and we're now gonna have some food because we've got a very long wait until show jumping. We've still got like 3 hours, so I thought we're gonna guess what we think his dressage is and then I can have a look. So Mum's gonna guess as well.
Do I have to go first? Okay.
No, you don't have to. You can if you want. You want to go first?
I think 34.
34. I'm gonna say 34.6. So we're pretty close. I think it was quite a nice test. Obviously, I don't know what the judge.
Either 34 or 18.
Okay, we heard it here first. Either 34 or 18. That's the thing. If they're really, sometimes at these events they're really like kind and generous, and sometimes they're not. He did do a nice test, but there were still bits where he was quite tense and his halt wasn't very good. But I'm gonna.
I was joking.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Mum doesn't think we're getting it. I'll have a look on the live scores and see whether they're up, because I think it should be up for him, so have a look. But yeah, cross country is nice. There's a few questions coming out of the water. There's a skinny, well, there's a brush not too far after the water. And the last 2 palisades are kind of big with the brushes on top, but we'll see how it goes. We've got to get through the show jumping first. He's just chilling in the back, somewhere in there. He's being a very, very good boy. They're in. Mum doesn't know. We got, so what did I say, 34.6. So technically I was the closest because it was higher than that.
Oh no!
It was 36.5.
Oh,
which might be, but looking at the section, there's none that's below 34 and there's a lot that's above 36. So obviously I can't look at the moment, we're still filming, but there's quite a few 38s and things. So he's like, they're not all out yet, but he's 4th best in what's the section is. I think that's quite harsh, 36.5. So it'll be interesting to see what my sheet says.
But then if everybody...
But if she's a harsh marker, then it's all relevant, isn't it? Lots of 38s and 39s in the section, so it's like in the middle towards the better, but there's still a lot to go up, and obviously have to see what my sheet says. But yeah, a little bit disappointed, but they're all at the high end of the 30s, so that's obviously where she's set the standard. So we'll have to see what she thought on the sheet when we get it later. Finally ready to head off for show jumping. He's being impatient, and he knows that we're about to go not do something fun again, so I'm sure he'll wake up. Gonna give him a walk round because it's been hours since he's done a proper walk, and yeah, see how it goes. I think it's going to be quite a spooky course, but it's all about the experience today, so yeah, it's all about the experience. Get on and warm him back up again. Here we are coming into our show jumping round. I thought I'd do another quick voiceover. I'll leave it very raw and unedited so you can see the whole thing. Here I was showing him these white fillers. Well, I was showing him in case he was spooked, but he didn't actually notice them, so I thought, well, I'll just carry on and not make a big deal out of it. And you can see he's a little bit backwards. When I asked him for canter, he didn't go straight away. But what I wanted to do was do a canter transition and then back to trot for the first jump, just so he was thinking forward. And you can see here it's a really spooky show jumping course. So yeah, I wasn't really sure what to expect. And along here you can't see, but they've got all the trade stands kind of behind the arena. he jumped that one nicely out of canter, but I think we just got a bit close, which was a shame, and we had it down. Now we are coming to the white gatey one, and I stayed in canter and he jumped it nicely, which kind of gave me a false sense of confidence, I guess. I should have come back to trot here because this is spooky, and you can see when we go out of canter, he's just not as confident. And yes, I gave him a little smack there because I was a bit frustrated because he had jumped the first few nicely. But I just thought, come on, he's green, he hasn't done it loads, just come around in trot, give him time to see it. And bless him, he still wasn't too sure, but we go just about. But just in trot, it just gives us both a bit more time to process what we need to be doing. So then I thought, right, stay in trot. He's lost a bit of confidence there, so we just need to build it back up. And we've got the double next, which is a bit of a question. But he popped in nicely, stayed in canter, got the 3 strides really nicely. And then coming around to our other oxer, similar to the red one, and you can see here he was more confident. He's still obviously spooky, bless him. This was the one he jumped the nicest. He jumped that one really well. And now we're coming down to the last 2, which, yeah, I think I came back to trot for the first part, and then the last jump has a big green filler in, which I was very worried about, but you'll see he jumps it really nicely.
Terribly sorry, she was eliminated.
Right, you guys are probably thinking, Millie, where is the cross-country footage? And you are right, it is the next day and you haven't seen any cross-country footage, and that is because there isn't any. That's the bottom line. There isn't any cross-country footage to show you. And I love making these videos, but when certain phases don't go quite as planned, it does make it blimmin' difficult to share those slight not so good parts and put them out for people to see. Yeah, so it's the next day. I'm here with Hugo, who is absolutely fine, and yes, as you'll have seen yesterday, first 2 phases went very, very well indeed. Absolutely so pleased with his dressage. It couldn't have really gone any better. So pleased with him. And I was a bit disappointed with the score at the time, but we finished in the top 10 after dressage in our section, so it was quite a harsh section. So really pleased with his dressage. And then we had that mammoth wait until show jumping, over 4 hours. It's just crazy, and obviously not ideal for his first ever event, having to hang around for that long. But he still did really well with the show jumping. We had one little look, but I am not bothered about that at all. It was a very spooky arena, and for him to only look at one of the jumps, I'm actually really pleased. And then we headed down to cross country. I think I've got one clip just before we went, and he warmed up really nicely. Mum had gone to stand on the mound to kind of catch most of our course, but he warmed up well over the warm-up jumps and was feeling good, and he was really good leaving the warm-up, going into the start box. He's never been in a start box before. Leaving the start box, he didn't nap. He was a really good boy. I think he's pretty tired today. And yeah, he saw the first fence, and I'm trying to keep him in trot just so he's got time to look at it, and he's kind of pulling me, and I'm like, great, he's seen it. Stride before he pops into canter. Brilliant, here we go, just about to jump it, and he goes, no way, I need to have another look at that. And it caught me so off guard and so by surprise, because he's not really like that at all. If he wants to have a look at something like you saw in the show jumping, he lets you know a while out, but it was literally last minute, we were about to take off, and he goes, wait, no. And I fell off, and I've never fallen off this pony before, and I was so cross with myself for falling off, because once you've fallen off, that's it, you can't get back on and carry on. At the first jump, it wasn't even a dirty stop as such, it was just last minute, and I think I'd already gone forward a bit because he'd given me every indication that we were going to be doing the jump, and then last minute he said no, so I fell off the side, absolutely fine, landed pretty much on my feet. He stood there, I was like, what are you doing on the floor? And that was the end of our day. So the most frustrating end to a day that was actually going really well. I think just mentally and physically he was exhausted, bless him. It had been a very long day. As you can see in the field today, he's pretty pooped, so it is a lot for them to take in. He's going to have to do it someday. He's going to have to do all 3 phases, but yesterday was not that day. But actually we are taking him back tomorrow for so they're keeping the course open that you can school round, so I'm going to take him back tomorrow. He's having today off to chill and just think about yesterday. Taking him back tomorrow to school round the exact same course, so I'm going to do it exactly the same, warm up over the warm-up jumps and then go round and do the 70 as if it is a competition. So what I will do, fingers crossed, I'm sure tomorrow will be great. I will put in the footage now from tomorrow's cross country so that there is still some cross country footage for you guys to see, because it was such a nice course and I was so excited to jump it. So hopefully tomorrow, if he wakes up, he couldn't really get his head much lower, we can have another bash at it and give it a good go, because I think he'll really enjoy it once he's recovered from yesterday. But the first 2 phases, I'm so pleased with him. And yeah, I couldn't have asked for more. He coped with it all so well, and I think it's a really good starting point. And like I said at the beginning of this vlog, there was no pressure or expectation. And yeah, I'm just kind of keeping up my tally of getting eliminated with at the first event with both the ponies. Got eliminated with Harry. We did actually make it over the first jump, but he was very nappy leaving, and he was not brave enough to take me around the course. And Hugo yesterday was just exhausted, bless him. I think tomorrow he'll be fine. So anyway, I will sign off from this eventing vlog, but I'll put in now cross country from tomorrow, all being good. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it and enjoy this cross country footage. Okay, this is the last voiceover, I promise, because you're probably really bored of my voice by now. We're 22 minutes in, but as you have seen, I've just warmed up over all the warm-up fences, and here we are leaving this start box to school round the 70cm track. And I just thought I'd give you a little bit of an insight into what's going through my head at this point in time, which was that my pony was extremely tired still from the competition. As you'll see, as we go round this course, he gets slower and slower, bless him. He was pretty exhausted, but all being said, he, as you can see, is taking on all the fences. This was our first kind of related combination, whatever you want to call it, round to this other house. And yeah, I was so pleased with him. It was so well worth taking him back to see all these jumps again in a non-competitive environment. Is exactly what he needed. And yeah, in hindsight, probably, well, you never know how they're going to react, do you? You can see here he's already getting tired. This is like jump 4, and then we had to skip a bit, as in Mum couldn't film all of it, so in a minute we skipped to the water, and this is the only place where coming into the water, it zaps so much of their energy, and I wasn't quick enough to react, and you'll just see we kind of grind to a steady halt. And I don't know why I thought giving him a snack would make him go. We'd already come to a halt. You can see how tired he is, bless him. He was exhausted, so I did a little trot circle. I didn't want to go too far back into the water. And now we're going to these steps. You've seen all the jumps from our course walk, so you probably recognise where we're going. This was up the step and down the other side. But even though he was exhausted, he was so good. Really good boy. For his first proper flagged cross-country course, we just need to get his fitness up and get him used to seeing it all. But I'll let you enjoy the last few jumps, and thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it.